Oh, welcome back into the 617, brought to you by the Crow-worthy Network. We're the voice of the Boston fans. We're the voice of the depressed Boston fans by the depressed Boston fans. Our second show this week, usually that means something happened, and of course something did happen last night. It wasn't the Celtics beating the Suns, smashing them. It wasn't the Bruins, which I promise we'll do shows of coming up in the future. It's just these other three teams keep getting in our way. It wasn't the Bruins smashing the defending Stanley Cup champions 4-0 last night. It was at around 11:30 last night. John Heyman, who had a terrible owners' winter meetings, just a terrible winter meetings. I thought he was screwing with us again.
Arson
Reported
judge.
that Xander Bogaerts, who has been with the Boston Red Sox for 11 years, been in the organization since he was 16 years old, has left to go to the San Diego Padres for 11 years, $280 million, and it's just left, in my opinion, it's leaving this franchise in shambles right now because I don't believe this ownership thought he was actually going to leave, and he's gone. Rayshawn, help me out here, brother.
I had to take a deep breath myself because when I heard of the numbers 11 for 280, and listen, I wanna say to Red Sox fans that have been going crazy on Twitter, there was no way Boston was gonna match 11 years 280. Let's just put that out there. Once again, that doesn't mean you have to be any less angry because we're all angry, we're all pissed off. But let's just put that out there. That was not going to happen. However, the fact that you let it get to this moment speaks to the ineptitude of your franchise leadership, whether it's John Henry, whether it's Sam Kennedy, whoever else you want to name out there that's part of the Fenway Roush, leadership group there. So there's a lot of things to unfold and to talk about with that. I am sad. Once again, I love Xander. Bobby and I talked about it earlier this summer that if Xander and Devers were not here, that we essentially were out. And I think a lot of fans share that sentiment with us. So once again, do your job in that regard and figure out a way to get Devers here long term. And once again, we'll get into that shortly. But yeah, I mean, listen, as to take the emotion out of it, I'm happy that he got his money. I'm happy he got his pay. Listen, he's a two-time champion, multiple time all-star. He should do great, with Tatis and Machado and the boys over there. But yeah, I just say say again.
Juan Soto.
Yeah, Juan Soto, right? Yeah, geez, yeah. So
Manny Machado.
forgot about one and Jake Corner. Forgot about So the Chrome Zone is our guy Darnell talks about when he gets a home run. So yeah, I mean, listen, I am going to miss him deeply. Once again, he's had a lot of great moments. And once again, it just the biggest takeaway I have from that signing is the ineptitude of the Red Sox leadership.
By the way, don't want to be rude. I forgot to introduce everybody that's on the show today. Rayshawn's here. Bobby's here. Joe's here. And I know Joe loves the Boston Red Sox ownership, so I'm going to love to hear what he's got to say for the next, I don't know, he's probably going to filibuster for like 20 minutes right now.
Yeah, I almost think I should let Bobby go first, but I'm not gonna. This is criminal, man. No, this is criminal. And usually, like, I do say sometimes, like, I don't see myself as a homer. Right now, I'm going to be a complete and utter homer. This organization is so poorly run, and for them to just think that because he's been in this organization for 14 years, that he's just going to sign a hometown deal and come back, or maybe they didn't think that. Maybe they're all right with him walking away. And you know what, Craig, you said it earlier, and you're like, oh yeah, Carlos Correa is coming in after Ray mentioned it. And you know what, at the time I was like, yeah, all right, that would kind of cancel it out, right? Like I might feel a little bit better. No. You had one of the best shortstops of our time come through your organization that you this is a weird word to use in a situation when you talk about bringing a kid in at 16, but you groomed him, you trained him, you turned him into a Boston Red Sox, and now you allow him to walk away instead of giving him the money that maybe he deserves. I think all athletes are overpaid, but this guy just got a steal, and he's getting paid until he's 41, and they're probably going to have to put him on a Bobby Bonilla contract, and they're probably going to have to do that with every team, with every player on the San Diego payroll right now, because it's really odd that a team with the name Padres is selling their soul to the devil, because they're going after a World Series in the next 2 years, and they're bringing Xander Bogaerts with them when the Boston Red Sox are going backwards, having finished last in the division 5 times in the last 11 years. Oh, but what about the World Series wins? Great. I think Mac Jones stinks too, and he was a first-round pick. So, like, we can say that things aren't going well, and then you want to look at one big thing that they come up with is their prospects. Great guys that we're going to sell away in 10 years. Of the top 10 prospects, Craig, can you tell me without looking how many are either in the major leagues or in AAA, which I consider nearly ready to play in the major leagues? Can you tell me of the top 10 how many are in AAA or higher?
Rephrase the question for me again.
Top 10 prospects in the Boston Red Sox organization. How many guys are either in Worcester or Boston?
Top 10, Cassis.
3. Cassis, Mata, and Walter.
Yes. And
Okay.
Brian Bayo doesn't count as a rookie anymore.
Correct. And Brandon Walter is a left-handed pitcher who was picked in the 26th round of the 2019 draft. That's like Mike Piazza, because he was picked in the 41st. Now, everybody else, Marcelo Mayer, he's in Greenville, Abel. Miguel Bleis, center fielder, he's in the Florida Penal League. Cedane Rafaela, he's in Portland, so he's kind of getting there. Nick York, he's a pretty good player. He's in Greenville as well. Mikey Romero, he's in Salem, which is even lower than Greenville. And then you have Roman Anthony, he's in Salem. Luis Perales, he's in Salem. So they're trying to sell this to us, and now I'm going to sound like Ray, because you know who just signed to a 3-year extension with the Philadelphia Phillies to be their president of baseball operations, right? Yeah, Dave Dombrowski, and he brought them to a World Series this year. So clearly he's doing something right. And this organization, this leadership, I don't even want to call it leadership, this ownership group is absolutely terrible. They're terrible. And then, Dave's a Liverpool fan, and Davis said, well, they did this, that, and the other thing for Liverpool. Well, now they're looking to sell that too. It sounds like they're starting to sell off some of their assets. And I hope that the Boston Red Sox are one of them, and they can go screw up the Pittsburgh Penguins, as long as we get Evgeny out of there, because I don't want anybody with my last name to have to be associated with John Henry. This is awful. And the worst thing is now they who knows what they're going to do with Devers. Because if they just did this with Bogaerts, what are they going to do with Devers? Because he's up at the end of the year, at the end of next season. And you also just lost a Mookie Betts trade a couple years ago, and now you've let Bogaerts go. If they let Devers go, they're gonna have to go live in another country, because the Boston Red Sox fans aren't gonna take that. Mm-hmm. And great, you know what? I love the Kenley Jansen signing. I love that. He had 41 saves last year, led the NL in saves. Really kind of a resurgence for that guy. So with John Schreiber and him in the back of the bullpen, great. That kind of shores that up, right? The back end. They still need a starter. They still need a couple relievers. Their shortstop option now is significantly worse than Xander Bogaerts. Even if Xander's fielding wasn't the greatest, Trevor Story is not an incredible shortstop anymore. This is just, it's not going to be 20 minutes long because I'm starting to lose steam, but this is just an absolutely criminal piece of work by this organization. And I don't know what kind of context it's in, so I'm going to kind of give him a slight benefit of the doubt. But then Chaim Bloom comes out today and is quoted as saying, I expect the fans to be upset. This fucking guy, what an absolute clown. I'm done with the analytics. I'm done with the computer nerds. I'm done with all that crap. Give me somebody in that front office that is going to use the eye test and is going to actually evaluate players for their talent. And somebody, for the love of God, that can work with Alex Cora. Because when Dave Dombrowski was here in 2018 with Alex Cora, they won a friggin' World Series. So let's go back to that and stop doing this finishing last 5 of the last 11 years. But we won you a World Series. Shut up, John Henry. Time to get rid of the team. Done. I'm done with these guys. I can't do it. Go Diamondbacks.
For the record, that was 4.5 minutes.
It wasn't bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. You even got to Evgeny Malkin. You know what I mean? That's not bad for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I really went down a rabbit hole there, and you would have thought I had that written down, but
Greg, I'm just going to take over if that's okay. All right. So, listen. What?
Make it 5 minutes. Come on, Bobby. Outdo me.
What is? It's just sad to me. That's really where I'm at this point. Is like, listen, I saw this guy. I've told you guys this story. I saw him in Portland, right, against Mark Apple. I don't know if you guys remember him. He's the number 1 pick, like back in like 2013. He just made his debut this year. Anyways, this dude was dominating everyone in Portland. He had like 9 strikeouts that night. Xander Bogaerts came up there and was 3 for 4 with a triple, a double, and a home run. And I'm sitting there going, this kid is amazing. He is going to be an all-star, right? Fast forward 11 years later, and this is the disrespect that you give this guy. This has been a dude that's been in our lives for the last 12 years. He's been on the team. Isn't that what you said?
14
12 years.
Since he was 16 and he's 30, so 14 years.
14 years. And you're going to come out with not only an offer that wasn't close to $280 million. You're going to wait all season and then lowball him with $160 million. Over $100 million less than the offer that he took.
And who's his agent, Bobby?
It's Boris, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bro, it's just
comical.
It really is. It really is comical. I mean, listen, was he worth that contract? No, of course not. Of course he's not worth 11 years.
I think we'll go 4 for 4 saying that's going to go down as one of the worst contracts in baseball.
Oh yeah, no, listen. So is the Tatis contracts. All their contracts being signed. The Padres are going to have like 30 wins in 5
Judge.
Years. All right, the whole thing. But what the
Devers, whenever he signs, I don't care if it's here, there, or anywhere.
What are we actually doing here? You know what I mean? That's where I'm at right now. Is like you have a dude. Red Sox organization knows what Xander Bogaerts means to this city, how much we love him, and how much we wanted him here, right? Do you actually think that they give a fuck if Rafael Devers leaves? I don't.
No,
I don't at all. You know what I mean?
No.
It's to the point now where it was a franchise that we saw as like an upper echelon franchise in the MLB, a team that was run to win every single year. That's how they operated. To 10 years later, me hearing that they're lowballing their stars and not re-signing dudes and just being like, well, yeah, I mean, that checks out. That makes sense. A team that brought in Manny Ramirez, a team that, kept Dustin Pedroia's entire career. A team that, David Ortiz, all these guys that were backbones of this organization, but right? That we made a priority to be part of the city. And now you're taking dudes that would have been that same exact thing, and you're running them all out of town because you have some prospects come. What is the expectation for those prospects? For them to be as good as Xander Bogaerts? That's you know what I mean? It's like the fuck, man. What the fuck? And after the 2 free agent signings earlier in the day, you're thinking, we're gonna get Xander back. It's gonna be fine. Like they're actually doing shit here. They're going all in. We're gonna be okay.
Well, that was the momentum. Nope. The reports came out earlier. Red Sox and Xander Bogaerts in heavy discussions, and it turns out that might not even be true at all because the report came afterwards.
It's never true.
I know, but the report in the quote came afterwards. Fucking Chaim Bloom was in an airport terminal. He got his phone saying Bogaerts gone. He just kind of like his heart stopped. Like he really thought that deal was gonna get it done.
My question
what was he doing in San Diego?
So they were in San Diego. Yeah. My question.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're actually doing winter meetings this year.
My question is it? Do you think Chaim pushed for more? Like he can't, as a GM as a baseball team, this has to be the owners. I think you're right on the owners' part because it's like you look at your team, how it's constructed, what you've built here. How can you look at it and say that you're trying to win if that's the offer you're giving, right? And now our replacement right now would be Christian Arroyo is going to be our opening day shortstop.
That ain't fucking happening.
Right. It's like, bro, come on.
It's going to be Jeter Downs.
What are you
going to push
here?
Jeter Downs on us?
I doubt it. But maybe.
It's so sad, man.
Yeah, but he actually played well. That's not fair.
No, he sucks.
This team was supposed to be the wagon of the city. This was supposed to be the wagon of the city, guys. This was the squad that was built to win for fucking 10 years. We had the killer bees, Benintendi, Bogaerts, and Betts. Get the fuck out of here. That's the best back. But it's like 5 years from now, the Boston Celtics being like, you know what? We're not going to re-sign Jaylen Brown. And then the next year being like, well, Jason Tatum, let's see what kind of offers he can get on the. We'll see if we can get that hometown. Get the fuck out of here.
I will personally lead the pitchfork if we get to that point. I'm sorry.
It's
ridiculous.
We won't, and I'm sorry, even put it into the universe. Right? I'm sorry I even did that to us. But
yeah,
I'm with you. It's if Devers leaves, we can say as a collective here, I'm done. I'm either just not having a team in baseball for a little while, or I don't know, man. I don't know.
Thank God for the green and the black and gold, huh?
Yeah,
right,
man,
but I'd give Devers what Judge just got. The 9 years, 360.
I give him 9 and 3. Not that we're gonna start playing this game, but like,
no, I'm saying, but that's you got
that's what it's gonna take.
Even if it's 8 and 320, like you can opt out after 6 years, like whatever it may be. And even with the Bogaerts thing, right? Like I would have gave him what they gave Price in 2015.
Sure.
7 years, 217. I'd have been comfortable with that. 7 years, 217, can opt out after 5. Why not?
It's all about that AAV and how they load it, right?
But it'd been over 30 million a year, anyways. At that moment, because 7 times 30 is 210, so that they would have got that number anyways.
But
at some point. But even I want to go back to I didn't want to lose this point because Bobby brought up certain guys that had got taken care of that were either homegrown or had been here forever. Like they were making Poppy go year to year just about for a while. So once again, David Ortiz is revered, maybe even more than Brady at times in the city. And they was making him go year to year. What do you think they're going to do to guys that are not at the level that he reached at? And once again, I don't agree with the premise. I don't, but I'm saying that's probably what their mindset is. And it's wild to me. But once again, we've seen it just like you talk about. You seen Bogaerts at 20 years old kill it, down in Portland. Well, guess what? With Devers, we've seen it at the fucking major leagues. That fastball on the third base side of the plate, and he nailed that shit to deep left center off of Roldis Chapman. I said, hello.
Sign him right now.
You have the guy, not just for right now, but for the future. And it's just like he was raking. He was the only one that was raking in that Houston series the year that Houston won and beat us at 4 in 2017. Jefferson, well, I don't know if we could play him. And I'm like, yo, he's the only guy that's hitting, and you're not going to play him. So, and then obviously they come back in 2018 and they go 108 and 54. Obviously, they won a total of 119 altogether because they won 11 games, obviously, to win the World Series.
Literally April to October. April to October,
best team in baseball. And you would think, let's sustain this. Then the next year you go 84-78. The next year you go 24-36. But that was the COVID year. You come back, Alex Cora comes back. You go 92-70. You make you're 2 games away from the World Series. And I don't know. Let's say let's say some other guys, and you go back to being the last place. So I'm just like, I don't understand. We spent 86 fucking years being number 2. We spent enough years being number 2. It is not necessary now to be in this era, regardless of who's being the GM, regardless of who's in the president of baseball operations, regardless of what title you want to give. We spent 86 years being the team that was cursed, being the team that wasn't good enough. So whether that was 46, whether that was 49, whether that was 67, whether it was 75, whether it was 86, whether it was 98, whether it was 99, and then 2003 for the people that's in our era, we've seen enough. We've seen enough. It is time to put a consistent product on the field consistently. That's the word. You're not going to October every year. That's not what we're asking. But put a 90 to 100 win team on the field consistently so we can enjoy coming to bed. Once again, Fenway Park is still a joy to come to. I know we had talked about it early over summer, but it's still a great place to come to, but make it a place that's enjoyable to come to, not where people just want to take fucking pictures and hit golf balls off the fucking right field. Sorry, Craig, but I'm like, that's not what that should be for. We're coming to see a baseball game. We're coming. It is. I want to try it too, but it's just like at some point, it's like, damn, we want to see a competitive product on the field. That's all we're asking. That's it. That's all we're asking.
And isn't that the issue here now, Ray? Just to kind of touch on what you said, and then sorry, Bobby, to Kanye you here, but I'll let you finish in a minute. But isn't that the issue? Like I look at some of these other venues in town or in the area, right? Like you look at Gillette, they host their concerts, they host the MIAA Super Bowls. They have their skating rink outside, they have all their shops and their bars that I have frequented and go to, some good food down there, some good bars. I'm there all the time for football, not for the drinking, mostly the drinking. It's the alcohol.
Right.
And then you look at the Garden and it's like, all right, yeah, they have their concerts and they have their stuff as well, but like Fenway is really the only one that is in a way turned into kind of a circus. Yeah, they got their concerts. I've heard good and bad things about it as a concert venue, but then they bring in Topgolf, which Topgolf is coming to Canton, which is not only Bobby's hometown, in a weird place to put a Topgolf, but also that's why they brought them to town, was to push that and give people an experience. And what better place in the end of the fall and going into the winter to do that than Fenway Park. But point is, it's kind of a clown show over there, and it's becoming a bit of a circus. And it's funny because in baseball, you get a lot of those things, especially at the minor league level, right? Like we've all been to minor league games. They do all the t-shirt tosses. They do all the stupid stuff on the scoreboards to keep the fans and the kids and everybody interacting with the game and everything going on, because the game is slow. Now, they've always said that they won't do that at Fenway Park because they've never needed to, because they always put a good product on the field. Now we're getting to the point where they have to do this gimmicky shit because they're not putting a good product on the field. They're not selling the place out anymore. That was very apparent this year. And now they're not going to sell it out even more. Nobody is going to come to watch Yoshida, not until he proves that he can play in at this level. So what are we really trying to sell to the fans here? Go get Carlos Correa then. But this is awful. I'm with you, Ray. It's gimmicky. And this other crap, I don't care. I mean, if you're not going to put a good product on the field at Fenway, tear it down and let's build something new and let's start over.
What's crazy to me is the Dombrowski thing. I feel like that's where this really started to take a turn, because you look at Dombrowski's tenure, is like it's inconceivable that they fired him when they did. It really is. Like you look at the stretch that he had. He was here for 5 seasons, right? His first 4 years, they went 93 and 69, 93 and 69, 108 and 54. And then he was 76 and 67 when he got fired. And they still had this squad. They still had a team that he helped build. All right. Yes, he didn't draft Xander. He didn't draft Devers. I get it. But the pieces that he brought in around them and the team that he put together won us a championship. And you let this dude go that only has winning in mind. You look at Philadelphia and what they're doing. They brought in Bryce Harper. They brought in Schwarber. They brought in all these dudes that are studs to try and win a goddamn championship. That's all they're doing every single year. And since that moment, since we fired Dombrowski, that's when this really took a right-hand turn, to where you started to see these moves that just don't. It's what rationalization can you have that you gave Yoshi, this guy that we just picked up, a bigger offer than you offered your star shortstop, your backbone?
Same offer. It's the same offer they offered him in spring training.
It's fucking crazy. That is unbelievable.
Bobby,
it's unbelievable.
John Henry has always chased Billy Beane, and he's got him because he's his like head of soccer operations in Europe, or football operations in Europe. But he's always chased the Billy Beane style, and having someone like Chaim Bloom gives him that. Because it didn't necessarily work between him and Theo. Even though Theo is still the best GM that this organization has had in our lifetime, and I don't want to hear anything about Dan Duquette. Ben Sherrington just wasn't very good.
I don't think anyone's going to argue Dan Duquette.
Yeah. And then they brought in Dombrowski, which, Ray, I concede you were right. I'm sorry. Because Chaim Bloom is a patsy, and that's all he is. And I don't think he knows which way is up. I don't know if he necessarily. I think he's in over his head. But you know what, Bobby? You know what you mentioned? You mentioned the draft picks, and you said, "Well, I know that it wasn't his draft pick or his signing, but you know who he did draft? Tristan Cassis, who's now in the major leagues. Cedane Rafaela, who's now in
He's
Portland.
So good.
He's Brian Mata, who's now in Worcester, who's pretty good. Let's see who else we could go down the list here. Edison Paulino, who's the 11th ranked prospect in the organization. Chris Murphy, who's a left-handed pitcher in Worcester. So my point is here.
Chris Murphy's good. I like it.
Yeah, my point is here, Bobby. No, he didn't draft those guys, but now we're seeing the guys where we were like, oh, he diminished the organization. Well, maybe he didn't as much as I claimed that he did in the past. But like we said on the football show, the power ranking show about Andy Reid, sometimes you just got to give it time. And that's something we don't do in this day and age. And I'm calling myself out a little bit here too. Sometimes we don't give anything enough time to develop. We don't give these things time to move forward, to see how these guys are going to develop, how the organization is going to move. But you're absolutely right. Firing Dombrowski is also a criminal offense in my mind, especially when the replacement was Chaim Bloom, who was not even the head guy in Tampa. He was an analyst in Tampa, and he had similarities to Billy Beane's style, which, I love Brad Pitt's Billy Beane. If Billy Beane were as good as that, I don't know. But Dombrowski did some good, and there's some good guys coming through the pipeline right now in the minor leagues for the Boston Red Sox. No, they're not top to bottom, but no organization is going to be like that. I don't want to be the Pittsburgh Pirates.
You just look at what he brought.
I'll take O'Neal Cruz, though.
Listen, they won 108 games in a World Series, and he was fired before the end of the next fucking season.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? He brought you Alex Cora. He brought you, like you said, Kimbrel, Price, Sale.
JD Martinez, my guy.
JD Martinez, right? All these dudes, and built this squad, and you fired him less than a year later. Since that moment, right? Since they fired Dave Dombrowski, what moves have the Red Sox made? They traded.
I know
Mookie
the
Betts.
answers to this question.
They traded. They left Xander. It's mind blowing.
Since Chaim Bloom got the job, let's get to this, because no matter what, this is his resume as a Red Sox GM. Since Chaim Bloom has become the Red Sox GM.
Wait, hang on. I do have to make the distinction here, because this and it's not you, Craig. It's everybody.
Yeah.
Brian O'Halloran is the general manager of the Boston Red Sox.
Sure, but he is
this every time. Is it?
He is the general manager by title. He is the general manager. So sorry, Craig. Again, not taking a shot at you, just in general, because I hear it everywhere. This is the resume of Chaim Bloom as the chief baseball officer, which is, like most titles, made up.
Yes, but still, he's the one that calls the shots, isn't he? Besides ownership.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay.
O'Halloran is just a figurehead in that order.
Sure.
In that
Okay.
position.
So since Chaim Bloom became whatever job title he has, he's the head baseball guy. He inherited a 27-year-old Mookie Betts, a 27-year-old Xander Bogaerts, 25-year-old Andrew Benintendi, who's a free agent right now, a 23-year-old Devers. Most of them are gone, with the exclusion of Devers. Two of them by trade, and Bogaerts just left in free agency. Those have turned into Alex Verdugo, good player, him, everyday player. Geno Downs, don't like him, don't think he's going to be anything. Connor Wong, don't think much of him. Francisco Cordero, who is free agent now. Red Sox just released him. Josh Winkowski, good spot starter. He did pretty good last year. Did pretty good. Then somebody named Gambrell, Luis De La Rosa, and Freddie Valdez. You turned Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, Andrew Benintendi, and turned it into nothing.
Guys,
These are generational talent that you just shipped off to other teams.
Mookie Betts is the generational talent.
Yes.
Imagine if the Angels
Side
let
note,
Mike.
he didn't want to be here, but that's beyond the point.
Oh, fuck you. He wanted to be here if you paid him the right amount of money.
They
and
offered him
treated
$300 million. I know that for a fact.
Oh,
He turned it down.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Bobby, let me put the words back into your mouth that you are currently speechless of. If the San Diego Padres in a market that small can find the money to pay Tatis, Bogaerts, Machado, who's the right fielder?
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. I'll stop there. If that organization can find that amount of money to pay those four guys, and you got Cronenworth, I think Yu Darvish is still out there. That is a good baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting better. They just loaded up on shortstops just to load up on shortstops because they can. If they can spend that kind of money, the Boston Red Sox sure as shit can spend that kind of money and keep their guys around. And they could have kept Mookie. They could have kept Bogaerts. They still could have brought Story in with those guys still here. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Don't forget the Trevor Story signing last year was pretty much a panic move because they hadn't done anything all off season. And they had a glaring hole at second base, and Trevor Story was the only one left.
They could have just taken that money and given it to Xander, and Red Sox Nation would have been 10 times as happy.
And we're going to see the same thing this year because this Yoshida signing, I think, is a little bit of a panic buy to get an international player in here. I think the Kenley Jansen move is a good, well thought out move.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make panic moves because they don't know what to do. And I did hear some panic in what I did hear of Chaim Bloom today. I did hear some panic in his voice. And that's not good. That's not good. He's not cut out for the job. I feel Chaim Bloom is to the Boston Red Sox what Matt Patricia is to the New England Patriots right now. It just useless, absolutely useless.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And I want to add on to what you mentioned about today. You've labored the point about the Billy Bean thing, consistently. So if you're going to be Billy Bean, I need Barry Zito. I need Tim Hudson, and I need Mark Mulder. And then for my fourth starter, I need Ted Lilly. We'll see what Jansen is, but we need a Keith Folk. We need a Ramon Hernandez. We need a Jermaine Dye. We need an Eric Burns. So let's just go down. I love some great. I need a Miguel Tejada. I can't believe it took this long for me to get to him, but I need an Eric Chavez. I need everybody. Oh, those type of players you had on that team that was great for about a good 4 or 5 year span in Oakland. If you're gonna build a team like that, they're really fucking do it, because that team for that about 4 or 5 year span was phenomenal out there on the West Coast. And once again, 3 top line starters that could have been number ones anywhere else. You had the fourth guy, Ted Lilly. You had the catcher and Ramon Hernandez, whatever. Like, you had guys there that did things. Jeremy Giambi. Excuse me. They had guys there. So once again, I can name all of them because I watched them, because I was like, damn, this is a heck of a team. I wish that we could get like that there. Obviously, we had a Billy Bean type team with Theo, but those guys could all rake and hit home runs.
That was the thing, right? Like when I talk about him chasing that Billy Bean style, he went out and brought this young kid in named Theo Epstein, and that's the closest he's ever gonna get to what he wanted. Because you're right, Theo did what he wanted, but also had his own style as well, and that worked. It got 2 World Series in 4 years. is what that brought to us, which is huge. In baseball, that doesn't happen. It's not the 1920s anymore. We're
Well,
not winning 15 in a row like the New York Yankees. But he's not going to get that with Chaim Bloom. And he was closer to it with Dave Dombrowski. John Henry has too much on his plate. He doesn't know what he's doing.
The biggest thing with what those teams were, though, is yes, you can build Moneyball teams. You can put together a team of misfits, right? You can, absolutely. We saw it with the 2013 Red Sox, that type of team. The thing is you need mashers, you need ballers to meld those together, because it doesn't matter who the hell your 6, 7, 8, 9 is. If you're 3 and 4 or you're 2, 3, 4 isn't one of the best in the league, you're not going to be one of the best teams in the league, and that's just the period. The Red Sox had that, and they let it walk away for literally nothing. Nothing. We got nothing in return for Xander Bogaerts except for just tears and sadness for the next 3 months. That's the only thing that the Red Sox ownership gave us, and it's just it's unforgivable. Like we could sit here literally for 2 hours and just rant about how unforgivable it is, and it would be 100% okay, and no one will blame us because it is fucking unforgivable. I've never experienced something like this in a big market like Boston, except for with this Boston Red Sox team. You know, any other time you see a big guy walk out, we either traded him for, I mean, granted, it's not always a good trade, but like a blockbuster trade, or it's the end of the career, or something. You let a prime, one of the most important positions in baseball, a prime shortstop, walk out your fucking door for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And you bred him. You groomed this dude. That's what's crazy to me about it, man. It's like, what the hell are we doing?
They brought him out of
we're gonna do it again.
Aruba.
We're gonna do it again. The fuck, guys like that don't come along very often. You can sit there and try and do it time after time after time, and 3 out of 10 are gonna work out. You know, for every
Marcelo Mayer better be fucking Ozzie Smith.
He better be out.
Yeah, he better be. He better be.
You better be Ozzie Smith. You better be.
Hey, Ozzie Smith only had 28 career
Smith.
home runs. They're not going to be a big fan of him if he's on.
He better be Ozzie Smith mixed with A-Rod from Texas.
Yeah, you better do something. And I mean, I knew that he wasn't a home run hitter, but I mean, you know, but once again, great player, obviously. But you better be Rock
favorite of all time.
You better be Frank Robinson. You better be something over. You better do something over there, Mark, to somebody. It does not make sense. I know Craig was high on him. He's like, oh, you know, they're gonna spin it for Marcelo Mayer to come over here and do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I don't fucking care about what the player can do. The only mayor
this year.
The only mayor right now I acknowledge is John Mayer, and you know, once again, I right now have a heartbreak warfare. Okay,
that was good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pissed off right now. That's like yep. I got a heartbreak warfare, and it's not getting fixed right now. So something's got to give.
And look,
John Mayer, if you're listening, send us a DM. We'd love to have you on for.
Yeah, that would be great. You were great when you came to Boston this year, brother. You was awesome.
He does a lot of Boston shows. He's here a lot, actually.
Yeah, he was here back in
He's one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Awesome.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
John Mayer's the man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
yeah, fuck everything.
He's allegedly part of the reason why Taylor Swift has written some of her songs. So,
oh yeah, no doubt.
Good
no
for
doubt
him.
that.
You know,
yeah.
That could be worse. Could be worse things in life. Could be your star shortstop could sign with the Padres. But anyway,
see what I did there?
Yeah, I don't feel bad for John Mayer for banging Taylor Swift.
Does anyone want to be a Padres fan with me? Listen to Don
Listen, I can listen to Don Orsillo all day.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, exactly.
Great
Don Orsillo went there.
We'll fall off the rails there, but yeah,
they have one of the best. I believe they have one of the best stadiums in Major League Baseball right now. I think.
Petco Park, baby, whatever it's called.
I love that place.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
love that place.
You don't have to take on a mortgage to get a beer or a hot dog.
$44 for when I went out there. Granted, this was now 19 years ago, but $44 to sit front row at Petco Park, right behind the dugout.
Here's my biggest question: do all the seats face home plate?
Yes, they do.
So.
Actually, these seats were great. It was right behind the
luxury.
It was right behind. Who did they play? No, it was right behind the Padres dugout because Khalil Green. I remember Khalil Green was the big name in San Diego at the time.
Khalil Green.
Wow. I know.
Wow.
You guys know that the seats on the first baseline face the Green Monster, at Fenway.
Yeah.
You got to fucking crink your neck every time you
Yeah,
fucking
well,
go there.
that's
to
why
watch a
that's why
shitty
old
baseball
man
team without Xander Bogaerts.
That's why old man John Henry and numbers analyst Chaim Bloom can't figure out what to do because they're not watching the game at any point because they're only facing the green wall. So these fucking guys, I can't. I'm with you. You know what? Let's all stay up late and watch Padres games the rest of the year. Can't get Nesson on YouTube TV anyway.
Well, I'm here to enter the Chrome Zone. I'm here for it.
Here's another issue I have with these guys. These assholes own Nesson.
Yeah.
And they're charging Nesson Plus because we're being dropped by all the I just started sounding like our former president. We're being dropped by all these TV providers. So we're just gonna provide our own thing, and it was gonna be $30 a month. Who the hell is gonna pay $360 a year to have Nesson when I can just get it with my cable package? Now you can get it for $1. These guys, this is just what I understand they got a lot of money. And I understand they've won championships in England on the soccer pitch. They've won World Series with the Marlins. They turned that organization around, and then it slowly went downhill again. And then they won World Series here in Boston. I get it. They've made their money. They've been successful. But you can be successful and still be a fucking dumbass. And this guy sucks, man. This guy sucks. I can't with this dude anymore. He lives rent-free in my head, and that's a problem. I can't with John Henry.
Well,
you speak for millions of people living in Boston right now, and they all agree with you.
Well, what sums it all up perfectly is the day before your arch rival thought they lost their guy, right? It would have been worse than us losing Xander, them losing Judge. 100% that would have been worse.
100, yeah.
But what it came down to is the Yankees ponied up, and the Yankees paid that guy what he's fucking worth. And they knew what he meant to that team and that city.
The Yankees over a barrel.
But bro, it was what did he end up getting? 380, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, 9 years, 360.
360, okay. It's just you look at what they just did for him, right? You're just as profitable as that team. You won more World Series in the last 20 years. You have their number, and you're gonna let them just. The day before, literally less than 24 hours, they resigned Aaron Judge, and I'm like, all right, you know what? This will put some pressure under their ass.
Yeah.
Nope.
Bloom sees Judge sign for the Yankees for $360 million. And he's like, no problem, we'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll take the discount, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Stupid. It's so dumb. It doesn't matter. There's no loyalty. These guys don't need to be loyal. This was the conversation we had when Brady left Boston, right? Like, he took less money all these years and now he's just gonna leave. What an asshole. No, man. He's from friggin' Palo Alto, California. He doesn't give a shit about you. These guys don't care. This is a job. This is no different than going in and watching me, Bobby, Ray, or Craig do our job. Ray, could you imagine if we just walked into your place of work and just started booing and cheering you depending on how you performed? It's entertainment. It's a sport. It's literally gladiators on a field with Joaquin Phoenix giving thumbs up or thumbs down in the stands. You're welcome for the gladiator reference. Are you not entertained? That's what football is. So lay off these guys, man. These guys don't have any loyalty to you or your city or your team or the logo that you wear on your chest on the sweatshirt. They don't care. And I don't blame Bogaerts for going to San Diego. More power to him. I'm not upset with that guy at all. He did everything, and we haven't brought that up yet, right? Because we obviously and clearly are upset with Chaim Bloom and John Henry. I blame none of this on the player. No. He's an absolute stud. Deserves overpaid, but deserves every penny. And I hope he goes out there and wins the World Series. And I hope that Mookie Betts is playing against Xander Bogaerts in the NLCS next year, so we can do a show during the NLCS and bitch more about this organization. Because that'll be
it's happening. It's happening.
These guys.
You know what the great thing about this upcoming baseball season is? I'll let Bobby get into it. The great thing about this year in 2023 baseball, when it's really next year, Interleague is all year. You're gonna face every single team in Major League Baseball. That includes the Dodgers. That includes the Padres.
Yep.
I don't have the schedule up in front of me right now, but you're facing them both.
Yeah.
So hi Mookie.
And I hope
Hi Xander. Hi Don.
I hope it's back to back. I hope it's Philly, LA to San Diego.
Oh, Schwarber.
Back to
Yeah,
back to back.
Schwarber. Yeah.
Wow, Dombrowski.
Yeah. And I hope he's up there eating a Fenway Frank as Schwarber hits a fucking bomb over center field.
I hate that.
That's what I want.
I hate that park. I wish
What
it
about
was
those guys?
ground.
We're the Boston Marlins. That's what I'm calling us for now.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what we're at.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. The Boston fucking Marlins. Wow.
Marlins from which era?
The right after they
right
sold
now. Right now.
Yeah, right after they sold Beckett, right after they sold all those dudes, man. It's
No.
like
Do you know who owned the team then?
John Henry.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's a
And
Marlins.
think about that.
And they lost 27-4 this year, which is also
Right.
very Marlins.
But a joke. But right, and we had beat them 25-8 years ago. But it's wild, right? That Marlins team went 88-74 and won the championship. Bring over Pudge Rodriguez. You still had Jeff Conine.
Jeff Conine.
Conine, right? What a name drop there, right? Carl Pavano, AJ Burnett, Josh Beckett, D-Train, Dontrell Willis. I still remember that series where I think it was against the Giants in that first round after the Giants had just went to the World Series, and they throw out, I forget who it was at home, and Pudge Rodriguez is on the ball like, I got the ball.
That was so dope.
I'm like, how do you go away from
that? That was a playoff, the one game playoff, right?
The wild card. And I'm just like, how do you go from that moment to saying, you know what? Yeah, I know we just produced this great moment. They just beat the fucking New York Yankees, with Sheffield, and I was say, it should have been us that they faced, but it's okay.
We just did it. We just did it. This is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right now. That's what this team is doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Yep. So talking about our old friends here, we're gonna face Kyle Schwarber and the Phillies May 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then we go to San Diego May 19th, 20th, and 21st, and then the Dodgers come here, which will be super fun, in August 25th, 26th, 27th. So
I'll be there.
A lot of booing coming.
No way.
They better
not for the guys coming back.
No.
Mookie and Xander are getting standing ovations.
I meant for the home team and the away team in certain situations.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
I'm really excited about Chris Martin.
I'm ready for the 12 pitch at bat by Mookie. I'm ready for the 12 pitch at bat by Mookie, like he had against Toronto a few years ago, and he launches it over and he lands down straight.
Yep.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that to happen.
It was time to party then, and it should have still been time to party.
Right.
And it's not.
Exactly. Miss you act.
Had the tools on your doorstep, it just proves even more. John Henry doesn't care about the fans. He doesn't care about winning championships. All he cares about is his purse, and if it's full. And you know what? From a capitalistic standpoint, and Mike would make this point. First time we've mentioned Mike Marcangelo this evening.
I miss Mike.
He has every right to make his money and run his business how he wants to.
Yeah,
but that's not how this city works. That's not how this town works. That's not how sports in Boston work. Go bring me a championship.
Yeah,
bring me. They had the tools. They had the longevity. They had the ability to keep these guys together for a long time and have a baseball big three with Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, and Rafael Devers, and they fucked it up.
What really sank them too is I know this was a Dombrowski move, but those contracts for Evaldi and for Sale, those should have been Xander and Devers' contracts and Mookie's. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I know.
Chris Sale helped them win a World Series.
I know.
And Nate Evaldi was really good while he was here.
Please sign your 25-year-old 5-tool players. Maybe,
You think John Henry's going to have the nutsack to show up in spring training and sit on a park bench?
Oh, without a doubt, he'll be there. 100%.
Because
he thinks he's right. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. I guarantee you he doesn't think anybody's upset with him. He's just doing what he's doing.
Chance to win. I can already hear.
Because I bet you too, when Bogaerts signed, I bet you today people went out and started buying Bogaerts Red Sox jerseys to buy them up. And who gets that money? John Henry.
Well, he could choke on one. That's
He can choke on
Yeah.
something. That's for sure.
I don't got much else to say about this.
That's it, Craig.
Wrap it up, Craig. Let's go home.
What are we supposed to be excited about? Fucking Chris Martin? You fucking kidding me?
I'm coming home again. Do you think about me now and then? Yeah. Do you think about me now?
God, he's doing.
I think we should all pick. I think we
great
should.
sound.
So, like, obviously, Dave's not a big baseball guy, but Mike's a baseball fan. I think this year we should do, like not like a fantasy thing, but I think at the beginning of the year we should each like pick a new team to root for the season, because I think the Red Sox are going to suck, and I think we should each get a new team to root for and make it some kind of a competition, and we actually like watch their games and learn and understand who that team is. I think that would be a fun little experiment, because I don't think I've never felt this way about the Patriots. I've never been like a huge Celtics fan or a huge Bruins, even the way they are right now. I've just never been that way about the Patriots. I just can't. It's not in my blood. But the way I feel about the Boston Red Sox right now,
ownership.
I could give them up and root for another team, and that hurts me to say. Ray, get the popcorn out. But Jesus, he's gonna get another bag. Ray,
I got it. I got it.
Smart. Right. What is it? Skinny pop.
Skinny pop.
Interrupting Joe's emotional filibusters
since 2020.
Since 2020. Not a sponsor. But Skinny Pop, listen, hey, we love your popcorn. If you want to sponsor us, we'll give you that opportunity.
Right, please.
Ray, lead us into the Craig, lead us into the
because me and Ray look so
yeah,
similar.
You guys, it's so similar. I can't tell you apart.
For those that's watching on YouTube, yes, we look alike.
Oh yeah, totally similar.
For those that aren't listening or aren't watching,
oh my god,
maybe about our waistline, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
Lord Almighty.
So winter meetings are over. Chaim Bloom's coming home crying with his, as they say in The Godfather, he's coming out of the bathroom with his dick in his hand. Came back with the closer. Came back with maybe a left fielder. I don't know. We'll see in spring training. And like I said on Twitter last night,
Decky Matsui, I'm claiming it right now. Decky Matsui 2.0.
That just reminded me of Major
for like
League.
3 years.
It was. That's all we need.
Not those Giants. No, Major League, maybe.
Oh yeah.
So I invoked emergency podcast clause on today's show because we couldn't not talk about this.
No,
we had our little we had a little group therapy session, and that'll be it for this week. So for Joe Malkin, for Rayshawn Buchanan, for Bob Kelly, I'm really sad that Xander Bogaerts is gone. I'm happy he got his money. I will root for him in San Diego. I'll root for that whole team. I like that team. That team's really good. I'm Craig D'Alessandro. This has been the 617, brought to you by the Crowworthy Network for the Boston fans, like I said, by the very depressed and angry Boston fans. And we will talk to you next week, hopefully about the Bruins. We'll see. Talk to you next week.